It was a chilly morning in Detroit, and the air carried a sharp bite, hinting at the icy winter ahead. I stood at the garage of my auto shop, hands stuffed in my pockets, trying to keep warm while I awaited my next customer. Business had been slow, especially among the wealthier clients who drove past my shop on the way to luxury dealerships, but I loved fixing cars, especially those in need of real attention. Just then, a sleek black luxury sedan glided to a stop outside. The engine roared, echoing in the quiet neighborhood. A woman stepped out, dressed in an extravagant coat that seemed out of place among the old brick buildings and worn roads. She looked around disdainfully, as though she could smell the grease and labor from a mile away. "Excuse me," she called sharply, her tone dripping with entitlement. "Is this where cars go to die?" I felt a familiar sting at her words but kept my head high. "No, ma'am, it's where they get a new life. How can I help you?" She rolled her eyes, leaning against the luxury sedan. "I need repairs on this junk. I don't have all day, and I don't want to pay for someone who doesn't know what they're doing." I could feel the eyes of a couple of passing neighbors watching curiously, some snickering under their breaths, but I had a reputation to uphold, and I wasn't about to let her condescension get to me. "Bring it in and I'll take a look," I replied, forcing a smile. As she watched me, I could sense her skepticism washing over me. The way she scanned my shop, taking in the old tools and the worn-down floor, was like she'd stepped into a time capsule. Her lips curled in amusement, as if she were trying to stifle laughter. "Good luck finding the right parts, Auto Tech," she said mockingly, glancing at her watch as if my time was less valuable than hers. Ignoring her sarcasm, I moved forward to inspect the car, hoping to prove her wrong. The engine was indeed in bad shape, worn and rusted. It would take more than just some quick fixes. I could feel the anticipation build up within me. This was a challenge I was prepared to tackle. "Give me a few hours," I stated, doing my best not to show my anger. "Right," she scoffed. "I'll be back. Try not to mess it up." As she walked away, I felt the eyes of my neighbors on me, their judgment thick in the air. I was used to skepticism from wealthier clients, but this was different. It was personal. I focused on the challenge ahead and put my heart into the task. This was my passion. Over the next few hours, I immersed myself in the work while the comment replayed in my mind. I poured all my skills into rebuilding that engine, hoping to not only fix the car but to prove a point. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the street, but I was lost in the mechanics and the anticipation of her return. The moment finally came when she pulled back into the lot, the sound of her tires crunching on the gravel snapping me out of my concentration. I wiped the sweat from my brow and stepped outside, determination coursing through my veins. "Ready to see the magic?" I asked, trying to hold back a hint of pride. She looked skeptical, crossing her arms. "Let's see what you've got." Opening the hood, I let the sounds of my labor wash over the moment. The engine purred like a satisfied cat. She looked perplexed, shifting her weight and leaning closer to the car. How did you?" "Just a little patience and skill," I replied, a grin breaking through my focused expression. As she sat inside, I could see the confusion on her face slowly turn into appreciation. The engine roared to life as she started the car, and I felt a rush of vindication. "I didn't expect it to run this smoothly," she finally admitted, her tone softer than a few hours earlier and a surprise acknowledgement that I took note of. "Sometimes things are not as they seem," I said, letting my voice carry a hint of pride. I turned a derisive encounter into a moment of respect, not just for me, but for the work and heart I poured into my trade. In that instant, I knew I had changed her perspective, even if just a little, and that made all the difference. I watched her as she shut off the engine, absorbing the sound that echoed through the garage. For a moment, there was silence between us, an understanding grasping at the edges of her confidence. Then, like a dam breaking, she finally spoke. "I'm impressed," she said, a slight smile creeping onto her face. "I didn't think someone like you could do this. I apologize for my attitude. I tend to judge too quickly." Her admission caught me off guard. I had grown accustomed to the hostility, but this felt different, like an opening. "It's all good," I replied, maintaining a neutral tone. "People judge based on first impressions. It's easy to do, especially in a city like this." She nodded, her demeanor shifting. "So, how much do I owe you?" I calculated the costs in my head, detailing the parts and hours worked. "I'll give you a fair rate," I said, trying to keep my business principles intact. "But I also believe in honesty. The work speaks for itself." As I handed her the bill, she looked at it, eyes widening slightly, but she quickly masked her surprise. "Honestly, I expected it to be much more." That's the thing, I explained, leaning against the side of her now functioning car. Just because it looks expensive doesn't mean it's all about the price tag. It's about the quality. Every car has a story, you just have to listen. Her eyes softened, and I could see her beginning to reflect on what I had said. I guess I need to reevaluate some of my beliefs, she confessed, tapping her fingers against the steering wheel. I mean, I've always bought luxury to feel special, but maybe there's something deeper to it all. Luxury doesn't equate to worth, I added. Sometimes the real value is in the craftsmanship and the connection we have to the things we own. She took a moment to absorb my words, and I realized this wasn't just a transactional moment for her, but a chance for both of us to understand each other better. Can I ask you something? How did you get into auto repair? It's not what most people dream of doing. I chuckled lightly. You'd be surprised. My father was a mechanic, and I grew up in his shop. It was a way to connect with him. After he passed, it became more than just a job. It's my legacy. And you're good at it, she replied, sincerity in her voice. Most people wouldn't look twice at a local garage, but you seem to do it with passion. Passion is what keeps me going, I said, feeling the conversation begin to flow easily. Not just for the cars, but for people. Everyone deserves a chance to be understood, to be appreciated. The air around us shifted, and for the first time I didn't feel the weight of her class differences. Instead, there was mutual respect growing. Thank you for showing me a different perspective, she said, her voice softer now. I'll make sure to spread the word about your shop. You deserve a better clientele. I appreciate that, I replied, genuinely touched. I just want to help those who need it, regardless of who they are. As she gathered her belongings and prepared to leave, I felt a renewed energy wash over me. Maybe today had been about more than fixing a car. It was about breaking down barriers, starting conversations, and creating meaningful connections. Take care and drive safe, I called as she pulled away, watching her car disappear down the street, leaving me with a sense of accomplishment that went beyond the garage. Her laughter and the sound of the engine melted into the backdrop of the Detroit skyline, a reminder that sometimes change begins with a simple act of kindness and understanding. As the sun dipped below the city skyline, casting a golden hue over the streets, I felt a surge of hope. In a place like Detroit, where skepticism often ruled the day, a spark of understanding had taken root. I returned to my tools, but my mind lingered on the interaction. How often did we allow judgments to cloud our perceptions? The next few days rolled on, filled with the usual hustle, fixing brakes, oil changes, and helping the community with their vehicular woes. Yet a subtle change started to ripple through my routine. Word began to spread about my work, and more customers, both old and new, started to drop by. I couldn't help but think that perhaps my encounter with her had planted seeds of change. One afternoon, as I was deep in concentration adjusting a timing belt, the door chime rang. I glanced up to see a familiar face, Sarah, the woman from a few days prior, standing in the entrance with an air of excitement. Hey, I hope you don't mind me dropping by, she called out, a genuine smile broadening her face. Not at all, I replied, wiping my hands on my rag and walking over. What brings you back? I've been talking to friends and family about you, she admitted, her enthusiasm infectious. I even posted about you on social media. I want people to recognize the talent here. I couldn't help but feel a swell of gratitude. That's really thoughtful of you. I appreciate it. It's tough sometimes, getting the word out. More like it's unfair how places like yours get overlooked, she said. People are quick to judge, but you've got real talent. It's not just about fixing cars, it's also about connecting with people, and that's something I think the world needs more of. Well, it's nice to hear that coming from someone like you. Her smile faltered slightly at that, as if she were still grappling with the notion of our different worlds. Look, I know I walked in here with an attitude, she said, her voice a little softer. I'm trying to learn. It's hard, but I want to do better. Learning is a process, I replied, feeling a strange kinship growing between us. Exactly, she exclaimed, her excitement lifting the mood. So, what's next for you? Any big plans for the shop? I thought about it for a moment. I've been wanting to organize some community events, maybe free car checkups for single parents or low-income families. I think it could make a difference. Now that's an idea, her eyes lit up. I can help with that. I have some skills in event planning. We could collaborate. Are you serious? That would mean a lot, I said, surprised and pleased. Absolutely, let's make it happen. Over the course of the next weeks, we drafted plans together, setting dates and creating flyers. I watched as Sarah threw herself into organizing the event, her passion infectious. Each meeting brought laughter and progress, and slowly, a friendship began to blossom, transforming our initial interaction into something meaningful. Finally, the day of the event arrived. The weather was perfect, the sun shining brightly as families began to filter into the shop. Laughter filled the air, along with the soothing sounds of engines and wrenching. "Welcome, everyone. Today is about community," I announced, feeling a rush of adrenaline. "Let's learn together, help each other, and ensure everyone drives safely." The day flew by in a whirlwind of faces, smiles, and connections. I felt a sense of fulfillment I hadn't experienced in years. Sarah's enthusiasm was contagious, and she floated from group to group, her laughter resonating like music. As the sun began to set and the event wound down, I caught Sarah's eye across the parking lot. We shared a smile, a moment that spoke volumes. We had bridged the gap between our worlds, not just in our actions, but through understanding, respect, and friendship. As families waved goodbye, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. There was something powerful about this moment, about the relationships formed, the barriers broken. It wasn't just about car repair anymore. It was about building a community that thrived on connection and support. "Thank you for believing in this," I said to Sarah as we cleaned up together. "No, thank you for showing me the way," she replied, her voice sincere. "Let's keep this going," I suggested, perhaps more hopeful than anything. "Count me in," she confirmed, determination shining in her eyes. In that moment, I realized that sometimes change unexpectedly comes from the most unlikely places, and together, we could keep it growing. As the weeks turned into months, the community events became a staple of my garage. We established a routine, checking cars, sharing maintenance tips, and connecting with families in a way I never imagined possible. Each Saturday brought new faces and old friends, and our little auto shop began to feel like a hub of hope and collaboration. Sarah and I worked closely together. She brought her organizational skills and energy, while I focused on the mechanics and the hands-on work. The chemistry between us grew, rooted in mutual respect and understanding. We made a great team, balancing each other out, and slowly began crafting a vision for what our partnership could evolve into. One afternoon, as she helped me set up for another community day, she leaned against the counter, tossing a wrench absent-mindedly. "You know, we should consider expanding our services. Maybe offer workshops, teach basic car maintenance for those who want to learn," she suggested, her eyes bright with inspiration. That idea struck a chord with me. Workshops could empower people, I agreed, imagining families learning to change their own oil or fix flat tires. It was about more than just knowledge. It was about giving them confidence in taking care of their vehicles and in themselves. Over the next few weeks, we organized the first workshop. The day came and I could feel the buzz in the air. Families had signed up, some of them nervous but eager to learn. I set up a few different stations in the garage, changing a tire, checking oil levels, and basic troubleshooting. As the participants arrived, I was surprised to see many familiar faces from previous events. "Welcome, everyone. Today's all about empowerment and knowledge," I announced, excitement bubbling inside me. "Let's learn how to take care of our cars together." The room filled with laughter and chatter as we moved through each station. I watched as parents worked with their kids, teaching them what I had learned years ago in my father's garage. Each moment felt meaningful. Sarah roamed around, guiding people and encouraging them. The way she interacted with everyone was nothing short of inspiring. I could see how significant this was for her, how far she had come from our first encounter. After the workshop, as we cleaned up, I turned to her. "You were amazing today." "Thanks, but honestly, it's all about what you've built here. You've created this welcoming space, and I just helped connect the dots," she replied, modestly downplaying her contribution. "But it wouldn't have happened without you," I countered, feeling our partnership take a deeper, more personal tone. As I looked around the garage, now scattered with empty soda cans and bits of paper, I realized that this wasn't just a business anymore, it was a shared vision. And in that moment, something shifted within me. I felt a warmth, a sense of belonging that had been missing for so long. One evening, as we wrapped up after a particularly busy weekend, Sarah leaned against a stack of tires. "I've been thinking about how this all started," she said, her eyes reflecting the late afternoon sun. "You rebuilt my car, and now we're rebuilding our community together." "Seems like it," I replied, chuckling at the irony. "Never thought a simple car repair would lead to all this." "Life works in mysterious ways," she mused. "I learned a lot about myself through this journey. I think we both did." That hit me hard. I had learned about resilience, community, and humility. And here was Sarah, recognizing her own growth, branching out from the preconceived notions I'd encountered that day. Hey, I said, the thought forming in my mind, we should document this journey, share our experiences, the workshops, the stories. There's so much to tell. Document it, she asked, intrigued. That could inspire others. Exactly, we could create a blog or a video series, I proposed, my excitement building. You know what? I love that idea, she said, her enthusiasm evident. Let's show people what it means to work together and to support one another, no matter where you come from. As we brainstormed ideas, I felt something wonderful brewing, not just as partners in the shop, but as friends navigating a new chapter together. In doing this, we weren't just fixing cars. We were crafting a narrative about connection, acceptance, and growth, one that could resonate far beyond the garage doors. It became clear to me that Detroit, with its rich history and diverse community, was the perfect backdrop for our story. And together, we would bring light to the journeys of those seeking to fix their cars, and in turn, their lives. As we finished up for the day, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The road ahead was being paved with determination, and I knew we were only just beginning. We dove into our new project with fervor, dedicating after hours to brainstorming ideas for the blog and video series. Sarah was a natural in front of the camera, her enthusiasm infectious. I, on the other hand, found myself feeling more comfortable operating behind the scenes, but I knew my voice had a place in this venture. We balanced each other perfectly. We decided to start with a video series called Under the Hood, where we would share insights into car maintenance while also featuring heartwarming stories from the community. Our first episode focused on a single mom, Lisa, who had been struggling to keep her old sedan running while working multiple jobs. The day we filmed Lisa's story felt electric. She shared her experiences with candor, discussing the challenges of raising her children while trying to ensure they had reliable transportation. I could see the sparkle in her eye when she spoke about her kids, the way her face lit up. Today, we're here to help Lisa fix her car and hopefully lighten her load a little, I said to the camera, trying to project enthusiasm while feeling somewhat awkward. Sarah stepped in seamlessly, her charisma guiding the flow. And remember, it's about more than just fixing a car. It's about building a community and supporting each other, she added, her voice filled with warmth. As we worked on Lisa's sedan, engaging her in the process, I saw the nervousness wash away. With each turn of the wrench, her confidence grew. What started as a simple car repair quickly morphed into a beautiful interaction, the spirit of community at its finest. After we completed the repairs, we were covered in grease and laughter. Lisa beamed as the engine roared to life, a sound she hadn't heard in weeks. I can't believe it, she exclaimed, wiping a tear from her eye. This means everything to me. As we wrapped up filming, I turned to Sarah, both of us sharing a knowing smile. This was gratifying. We were not just repairing cars, we were restoring hope. Once we edited the video and shared it online, the response was overwhelming. Hundreds of views flooded in, and the comments were filled with support and encouragement. The impact of our work rippled through social media, and soon we had people reaching out to volunteer or share their car stories. Our workshop numbers swelled. Families began arriving early to secure their spots and share their stories. Each week, our community was growing, and with it, a sense of belonging flourished. However, amid the excitement, I noticed something different about Sarah. She seemed more reserved, occasionally lost in thought. One afternoon, as we were packing up after a busy workshop, I decided to ask her about it. Hey, is everything okay? I inquired gently, catching her gaze. You seem distracted lately. She sighed, her eyes lingering on the workbench. I've just been thinking a lot. This project has taken off faster than I expected, and it's exciting, but I'm also worried. Worried about what? About keeping up with everything. I love what we're doing, but I'm also scared of letting people down if we can't maintain this momentum, she confessed, her vulnerability disarming me. Sarah, look at everything we've accomplished. We've built something special. It's okay to feel overwhelmed, I reassured her. We're in this together. We can pace ourselves. She smiled faintly, but I could sense the weight she carried. You're right. I just don't want to disappoint anyone, especially you. I stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. You won't. This isn't just my journey, it's ours. If ever you feel it's too much, we'll figure it out together. The warmth in her eyes returned, a glimmer of hope that reminded me of why we started this in the first place. I appreciate you saying that. It means a lot. As the days passed, we managed to strike a balance. We learned to delegate tasks, and I encouraged her to focus on her strengths, event planning and outreach, while I took charge of mechanics and technical content. We found our rhythm. Then one afternoon, while brainstorming our next video episode, I had an idea. Why don't we showcase a Gratitude Day event, a day where community members can show appreciation for those who help them in times of need? Sarah's eyes sparkled. That's brilliant. We can highlight stories of how the community has supported each other, and we could even have a little gathering to celebrate it. With this new vision, we began planning. The anticipation fueled each of us, and as the day approached, the excitement was palpable. Community members rallied, eager to share their own stories of gratitude and connection. On the day of the event, the atmosphere buzzed with joy and warmth. Families arrived with laughter, their smiles bright against the backdrop of our garage, decorated with colorful banners and handmade signs of appreciation. As the festivities kicked off, I took a moment to look around and absorb the scene. Children played while parents engaged in conversations, and there was a warmth that wrapped around us like a soft blanket. "Look at this," Sarah exclaimed, pulling me back to reality. "It's amazing to see how this has grown." "Absolutely," I replied, my heart swelling with pride, "and it's all happening because of the connections forged here." As the day unfolded, I couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude myself, gratitude for the challenges, the realizations, and for Sarah, who had become a steadfast partner in this journey. Together, we were building more than a community. We were fostering a movement of understanding, support, and empowerment that would outlive us both. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the day's success, I knew this was just the beginning. The road ahead was wide open, and with each turn, a more meaningful journey awaited us. As the festivities wound down, the laughter of children echoed in the garage, and I took a moment to step outside for some fresh air. The scent of gasoline mixed with the sweetness of the late afternoon sun was a comforting embrace. I leaned against the wall, watching families gather their things, each smile a small victory for what we were building. Sarah joined me moments later, her expression glowing with satisfaction. "I can't believe how well this turned out," she said, still riding the high of the day. "It really is something special, isn't it?" I replied, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "This is what community looks like." As we stood in silent appreciation, I felt the familiar weight of ambition calling my attention. "You know," I began cautiously, "I've been thinking, maybe we should consider expanding beyond just car repairs and workshops. I mean, what if we started a mentorship program for young people interested in auto mechanics?" Her eyes widened with excitement. "That's a fantastic idea. We could teach them valuable skills while also fostering their confidence. It's more than just fixing cars. It's about empowering the next generation." "Exactly," I said, enthused by her response. "I want to create opportunities for kids who might not have access to this knowledge or resources." "Let's gather input from the community," she suggested. "We can see who would be interested and how we can best structure it. I love this idea." With newfound energy, we spent the next few days laying the groundwork for the mentorship program. We reached out to local schools and community centers, promoting our vision and inviting students to join us at the garage. The excitement was palpable as word spread, and soon we had a small group of interested young people eager to learn. On the first day of the mentorship program, I stood at the front of the garage, looking at the faces of eager teenagers. Some seemed anxious, while others displayed a mixture of curiosity and excitement. "Welcome, everyone. I'm thrilled to see so many of you here," I began, my voice steady but filled with enthusiasm. "We're going to learn a lot over the coming weeks, but more importantly, I want us to create a space where you feel comfortable to ask questions and make mistakes." One young man raised his hand. "What if we don't know anything about cars?" "Perfect, this is the place to start," I replied with a grin. "Everyone here started somewhere, and asking questions is key to learning." Sarah stepped up next to me, her energy infectious. "You'll each have the chance to get hands-on experience, but we also want to hear your ideas. What do you want to learn? We're here to guide you." As the weeks rolled on, I was amazed by their progress. We taught them the basics, changing tires, checking fluids, and even troubleshooting issues. Each session brought laughter, camaraderie, and a newfound passion for mechanics. One afternoon, as we wrapped up a lesson on oil changes, I noticed a girl named Mia sitting quietly at the edge of the group, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Everything okay, Mia?" I asked, walking over to her. She looked up, her voice barely above a whisper. "I like this, but I'm not sure if I'm good enough." "Trust me, it's not about being perfect. It's about trying and learning," I reassured her. "You've been doing great. Don't underestimate yourself." She smiled shyly, the tension relaxing in her shoulders. "Thanks, I guess I just get nervous." Let's change that, I suggested. Why don't you help me demonstrate the next oil change? It'll be a great chance to show what you can do. Her eyes widened in surprise, but I saw a flicker of determination light up inside her. Okay, I'll try. The next session with Mia in the spotlight was exhilarating. As she confidently guided the group through the process, her voice grew stronger, her confidence blossoming like a flower reaching for the sun. The sense of empowerment in that room was palpable, and I felt an overwhelming pride as I watched my students grow. Throughout those weeks, Sarah and I often reflected on how far we had come since that first encounter. We had turned skepticism and doubt into belief and support, not just for each other, but for an entire community. And through these young minds, we saw our story perpetuating, enlightening those who would follow in our footsteps. Then one evening, as we prepared for our weekly session, Sarah approached me, her expression serious. I've been thinking, can we consider a way to offer scholarships for these kids, maybe partner with local businesses? My heart raced at the possibility. That could be life-changing. If we could secure funding, we could truly open doors for them. That's what I'm aiming for, she said, a spark of determination igniting in her eyes. I can start reaching out to local organizations and see what resources we might be able to gather. That night, we sat down with our laptops, planning our outreach strategy. We crafted emails and developed proposals outlining the impact of our mentorship program, a chance for local businesses to invest in the community. Days turned into weeks, and soon, we were meeting with representatives from various organizations. Some were skeptical, while others were inspired and eager to help. The journey was challenging, but each meeting solidified our belief in the power of community. Finally, after weeks of hard work and perseverance, we secured a partnership with a local auto parts store to sponsor our scholarship fund. The feeling was surreal. We had not only transformed our auto shop, but had also created an avenue for future mechanics to thrive and flourish in a supportive environment. On the day we announced the scholarship to our students, excitement filled the air. Together, Sarah and I stood in front of the group, the news almost bursting from us. Today is a special day, I began, my voice filled with emotion. We're not just here to teach you about cars, we're here to help you build futures. We've secured funding for scholarships that will help you pursue a career in auto mechanics should you choose that path. The room erupted with cheers and applause, and I watched as each student's face lit up with joy and hope. For Mia, that spark of ambition returned, and I saw her dream unfold right in front of my eyes. As the celebration continued, I turned to Sarah, my heart full. This is everything we worked for. And more, she replied, her eyes reflecting the pride and joy we both felt. In that moment, I realized that this journey was not just about fixing cars, it was about building futures. And together, we were driving towards a brighter tomorrow, one connection at a time. As the weeks passed after the scholarship announcement, the momentum of our program continued to grow. We had ignited a spark not just within the students, but also within the community. The generosity of local businesses was astounding, and soon we found ourselves forging partnerships that extended beyond the auto industry. One day, during a workshop, I stood in front of our group, surveying the eager faces of budding mechanics. They had become a close-knit family, sharing not only knowledge but also personal experiences. It was inspiring to see how they had taken ownership of their learning. Mia, how about you lead today's session? I suggested, wanting to empower her further. She hesitated at first but then nodded with determination. Sure, I'll show everyone how to change a tire, she said, confidence radiating from her. As she spoke, I could see the transformation in her. The uncertainty that once clouded her eyes was gone, replaced by a sense of purpose. The other students rallied behind her as she took the lead, guiding them through each step with clarity and enthusiasm. As Mia illustrated the process, I caught Sarah's eye across the garage, and we exchanged a look filled with pride. This was the result of our efforts. The mentorship program wasn't just teaching skills, it was fostering leadership and self-belief. After the session, as the students enjoyed some refreshments, Sarah and I gathered in the back of the garage to discuss the next steps. I think we should consider hosting a community showcase, she suggested, her eyes sparkling with excitement. A day where all our students can demonstrate their skills and show the community what they've learned. That's a brilliant idea. It would help build their confidence and reinforce the importance of supporting one another, I replied. We could invite local businesses and even look for potential employers who might want to see what they can do. Sarah beamed at the thought. Let's set a date and start planning. I'll handle the logistics and outreach, and you can focus on getting the students ready. As we began organizing the event, anticipation filled the air. Flyers were distributed, social media posts were made, and the excitement buzzed throughout our community. We wanted to create a space where our students felt proud to showcase their hard work and the skills they had developed. Finally, the day of the showcase arrived. Nervous energy electrified the atmosphere as people gathered around the garage. The sun shone brightly, giving everything a warm glow. Families, friends, and local business owners came to support the students. Outside, we set up a few tents, while inside, the sounds of engines and laughter filled the air. As the event officially began, I stepped up to the makeshift stage, looking out at the crowd. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in celebrating our talented young mechanics. They've worked incredibly hard to hone their skills, and today is their moment to shine. There was a round of applause, and I could see the students glow with pride. Mia was among them, nervously adjusting her toolbox as she prepared for her demonstration. Sarah joined me on stage. We're excited to share that the mentorship program is just the beginning. We're committed to continuing this journey with all of you for years to come. As the showcase began, students took turns demonstrating various tasks, changing oil, rotating tires, and even diagnosing common car issues. I watched as they grew more confident with each step. They answered questions from the audience and fielded compliments from the community. Mia led her demonstration with a calmness that belied the nerves I had initially seen. She deftly changed a tire, her hands working confidently, and the crowd erupted in applause. Seeing her flourish filled me with pride. Throughout the day, we collected feedback from attendees who expressed their admiration and interest in partnering with us in the future. Local auto shops were eager to collaborate, and potential employers were keen to connect with our students. As the sun began to set, casting a vibrant orange hue over the garage, we wrapped up the event. I stepped outside, feeling accomplished. "What a day," Sarah said, grinning widely as she joined me. You could feel the pride in the air. "It was incredible to see everyone come together," I replied, still taking in the day's events. Then, moving closer, Sarah's expression turned serious. "Can we reflect a moment? You and I made this happen. It's amazing what we've built." I know it's hard to believe how far we've come. It started with car repairs, and now it's blossomed into something so much more, I said, my heart swelling at the thought. "We've built a community, a family," she affirmed, her voice filled with warmth. As we stood in that moment, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude and hope. Together, we had transformed not just lives, but the fabric of our neighborhood. The sound of laughter and chatter behind us drew our attention back to the crowd. Families celebrating, students sharing stories of their experiences. It was a beautiful tapestry of connection. Sarah turned to me, her eyes sparkling under the evening sky. "What's next for us?" "I think we keep this momentum going. Let's set our sights on expanding the scholarship program and perhaps even partner with schools for internships," I suggested, the excitement bubbling up again. She nodded enthusiastically. "Let's dream big. Our community deserves it." And with that, we walked back to join the festivities, eager to take the next steps in our journey. I realized then, more than ever, that our story was just beginning. With every turn of the wrench, every lesson learned, and every life we touched, the road ahead was bright, and together we were ready to navigate it. As the days turned into weeks, the ripple effect of the showcase continued to unfold in ways we hadn't anticipated. Young people from neighboring communities began reaching out, expressing interest in joining our mentorship program. Sarah and I found ourselves standing at the threshold of something even bigger than we had originally envisioned. One afternoon, while reviewing feedback from the showcase, Sarah's phone buzzed with a notification. She glanced down and her eyes widened. "You're not going to believe this," she said, showing me the screen. It was an invitation from a local news station to feature our mentorship program in a segment dedicated to community leaders making a difference. "They want to tell our story," she exclaimed, her excitement palpable. "Wow, that's incredible," I replied, feeling a mix of pride and nervous anticipation. This could really elevate our profile and attract more support. We quickly organized a meeting to prepare for the interview. As we outlined the key points we wanted to share, I couldn't help but reflect on how impactful our journey had been, not just for us, but for the entire community. On the day of the taping, we arrived at the studio, nerves buzzing beneath our outward calm. Sarah was a natural in front of the camera, exuding charisma, while I felt a knot of anxiety in my stomach. But as the interview began, I found myself wanting to share our mission and the stories of the students that had become so dear to us. Welcome, everyone. Today, I'm excited to introduce a remarkable community initiative happening right here in our city, the host said, her smile inviting. We have Sarah and Jake from the Auto Mechanics Mentorship Program. Thank you for being with us. Thanks for having us, Sarah replied, her energy infectious. As the interview progressed, we took turns explaining our vision, the services we offered, and the impact we were already seeing. When we began sharing the success stories of our students, I could see the host's interest peak. Tell me about Mia. You mentioned her earlier, and she seems to embody the spirit of your program, the host asked. Sarah smiled broadly, clearly proud. Absolutely. Mia started out feeling unsure of herself, but she's transformed into a confident mechanic, a true leader among her peers. It's been remarkable to watch her grow. Can you share a specific moment that stood out to either of you? The host probed. I took a deep breath, the memory flooding back. There was a moment during our showcase when Mia led a tire change in front of an entire crowd. She was nervous at first, but once she got going, she commanded the attention of everyone there. It was a turning point for her and a reminder of why we're doing this, empowering young people with skills and confidence. As we concluded the segment, I felt a surge of excitement. The opportunity to share our story with a wider audience felt empowering, and I knew it could help elevate our mission. In the days that followed, we noticed a significant increase in inquiries about our program. People began reaching out, eager to volunteer and support, and we soon had a waiting list of students hoping to join. Energized by the buzz, we hosted an open house, inviting the community to come see our garage, meet our students, and learn about the mentorship program firsthand. The turnout was phenomenal. Families filled the space, mingling and sharing stories. During the event, I encouraged the students to showcase what they had learned. Let's give everyone a taste of what you can do, I urged, motivating them to demonstrate basic skills, just like at the showcase. Watching them step up was awe-inspiring. Mia took charge, guiding her peers through a series of small demonstrations, while I stepped back, observing their growth with satisfaction. Parents beamed with pride, and even some students who had initially been shy found confidence as they engaged with attendees. As the open house drew to a close, I gathered everyone for a final announcement. Thank you all for being part of this day. Starting next month, we want to expand our workshops to include specialized skills training. This will allow our students to explore different aspects of auto mechanics in more depth. The crowd erupted in applause, and I noticed the realization on many parents' faces that their children were not just learning skills, they were finding a sense of purpose and belonging. After the event, as we cleaned up, Sarah turned to me, eyes bright. Can you believe how far we've come? This could actually change lives, and not just for our students. The entire community is rallying behind us. Absolutely, I replied, my heart swelling with hope. It's amazing to see everyone come together like this. They're investing in their own future. As we stacked chairs and tidied the workstations, a familiar figure approached us. It was Lisa, the single mom we had helped in the early days of our program. She walked over, carrying something wrapped in a colorful cloth. Hey, I wanted to thank you both, she began, her voice thick with emotion. What you've done for my family and this community means more to me than words can express. That's what we're here for, I replied warmly, touched by her gratitude. She carefully unveiled the cloth to reveal a handmade thank you card, beautifully crafted by her children. I wanted you to know how much we appreciate your support. You've made a real difference in our lives. Sarah's eyes lit up, and she reached out to take the card gently. This means the world to us. Thank you for being part of this journey. As we said our goodbyes, I felt a swell of gratitude wash over me. It wasn't just about fixing cars or mentoring students. It was about connection, real heartfelt connections that transcended boundaries and united us all. As we closed the garage for the day, I looked at Sarah, overwhelmed with the rich tapestry we were weaving together. Do you ever wonder what impact this will have in a decade? I asked. Every single day, she replied thoughtfully. Our hope is that we're not only teaching skills, but also helping to create a foundation for compassion and understanding that lasts generations. I nodded, feeling that we were on an important mission. With every moment we shared and every life we touched, we were carving a path toward a brighter future together, and I couldn't wait to see where it would lead us next. As the calendar flipped to the next month, excitement buzzed through the air at the garage. Plans for our expanded workshops were in full swing, and I could hardly contain my enthusiasm. We had scheduled specialized sessions on everything from electrical systems to collision repair, and the students were eager to delve into areas that intrigued them. One sunny Saturday morning, we kicked off the first specialized workshop focused on electrical systems. The students gathered, each of them armed with notebooks and an eagerness that was contagious. Mia, now a confident leader within the group, stepped up to help facilitate. Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving into how electrical systems work, she announced, her voice steady and clear. I'll be guiding you through troubleshooting basic electrical issues. I marveled at her transformation. She had gone from a shy girl hesitant to speak up to a confident young woman leading her peers. The pride swelling in my chest mirrored the sense of accomplishment I felt for all our students. As I led the first segment on the basics, demonstrating how to test car batteries and check wiring, I noticed several parents peeking in through the garage doors, curious and supportive. It was heartening to witness such community engagement. They were more than just spectators, they were participants in their children's learning. After we wrapped up the initial demonstrations, we broke into smaller groups, allowing each student to try their hand at diagnosing electrical problems. Laughter and chatter filled the garage as they worked collaboratively, troubleshooting and bouncing ideas off one another. During one such session, I overheard a conversation between Mia and another student, Eric. If we can figure out how to fix this wiring, we can solve the issue with the headlights, she said, her tone both encouraging and assertive. Let's test the connections, Eric suggested, pulling out a multimeter with newfound confidence. Their cooperation was heartwarming to witness. As I walked around checking in with each group, I saw ideas blossoming and skills sharpening. It reminded me that we were not just teaching them about cars, we were creating an environment where critical thinking and teamwork thrived. As the workshop concluded, I gathered everyone for a recap. Fantastic work today, everyone. I'm so proud of how you all contributed and supported one another. Remember, the skills you're learning are valuable, not just technically, but also in fostering collaboration. The group cheered, and I could see the newfound confidence radiating from each student. The workshop had not only solidified their understanding of electrical systems, but had also reinforced their camaraderie. Later that evening, as we cleaned up the garage, Sarah joined me, a thoughtful expression on her face. Do you think we're making a real impact? She asked, her voice tinged with curiosity. Absolutely, I replied, leaning against the workbench. Every session brings new opportunities for them, and I can see the difference in their attitudes. It's remarkable. She nodded, a smile breaking across her face. I've been thinking about how far we've come, from a small garage to affecting lives. What's our next big step? I think we should explore partnerships with local high schools, I suggested. We could create a curriculum that allows students to earn credit while they learn here. Imagine the outreach we could achieve. Brilliant. If we can formalize our program, we could reach even more students who might not have access to hands-on experience otherwise, Sarah said, her excitement palpable. That night, we drafted a proposal aimed at local high schools, outlining how our mentorship program could provide valuable educational experiences. We emphasized the importance of hands-on training, presenting it as an opportunity for students to earn credits while gaining practical skills. The thought of collaborating with schools filled me with excitement and hope. Within days, we began reaching out to representatives from several schools. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and we quickly scheduled meetings to present our program. Each meeting strengthened our belief in what we were building together. Finally, we secured a partnership with a nearby high school, setting the stage for a pilot program that would allow students to earn credits through participation in our workshops. It was a monumental step forward, and I could hardly contain my enthusiasm. The inaugural group from the high school arrived on a bright Monday morning, a mix of eager faces and nervous energy filling the garage. As the students stepped inside, I felt a familiar sense of purpose wash over me. Welcome, everyone. We're thrilled to have you here, I said, my voice warm and inviting. This program is all about learning and supporting each other, so don't hesitate to ask questions or share ideas. I could see some students exchanging glances, uncertain, but Mia stepped up beside me. Trust me, this place is awesome. You're going to learn so much, she said, her confidence reassuring them. We kicked off the session with an overview of the course structure and set expectations for the students. I could feel the excitement growing as I outlined the hands-on activities planned, showcasing the upcoming specialized workshops they would be participating in. As the day unfolded, the camaraderie between the new arrivals and our existing students grew. It was heartwarming to see the experienced students take on mentorship roles, guiding the newcomers and helping them feel comfortable. Later in the afternoon, We wrapped up the day with a group session to discuss what everyone hoped to achieve during their time with us. It was invigorating to hear their aspirations. Some wanted to pursue careers in auto mechanics, while others were drawn to the engineering aspect of automotive technology. As we concluded the session, I felt a swell of gratitude. Every workshop, every connection, every student, each interaction was a step toward creating a brighter future for these young people. That evening, Sarah and I reflected on the day. "I can't believe how well it all went," she exclaimed. "I really feel this group is going to exceed our expectations." "Yeah, it's incredible. I'm excited to see how they grow together," I replied. "It's all about building that sense of community and shared purpose." "Next on our agenda," Sarah quipped, her playful spirit shining through. "How about a car show? Show the community what our students can do with their new skills." "Now that's what I'm talking about," I laughed, the idea igniting a spark of inspiration. Together, we began plotting our plans for the car show, a showcase that would celebrate the students' achievements. We envisioned a day filled with demonstrations, fun activities, and the chance for them to display what they had learned. The path stretched out ahead of us, filled with potential and purpose. With every step, we knew we were building something spectacular, one workshop at a time, and I couldn't wait to see where our journey would take us next. As the days turned into weeks, the excitement for the upcoming car show grew among the students. They were buzzing with ideas of what they wanted to showcase. Mia, feeling particularly inspired, gathered a group of her peers during lunch breaks to brainstorm their contributions. "Why don't we create a demonstration on how to maintain a car's electrical system?" she proposed. "It would be informative and useful for people who might not know the basics." "That's a great idea, Mia. We could even offer mini checkups for attendees," Eric added enthusiastically. "It could encourage them to get to know their vehicles better." As the team rallied around her, I watched with pride. They were taking ownership of the event, each student eager to demonstrate their skills while supporting their classmates. Over the next few weeks, they planned their individual demonstrations, mapped out activities, and even reached out to local businesses for sponsorships and support. As the date approached, the garage buzzed with preparation. Sarah and I organized logistics, ensuring everything was in place, from food and activities to safety precautions. Local businesses donated supplies, and we even received promotional support from the news station that had originally featured us. The day of the car show arrived, and the atmosphere was electric. The garage was transformed into a vibrant display of creativity, with colorful banners and student-made posters showcasing their projects. Families, friends, and community members filled the space, eager to support the students. "Welcome, everyone," I called out, standing at the front of the garage as the crowd gathered. "Today is a celebration of hard work, skills learned, and the power of community. We're thrilled to showcase what our students have accomplished." The crowd erupted in applause, and I could see the students beaming with pride. Mia stepped forward, taking the microphone for the first demonstration. "Thank you for being here. Today, we'll show you how to maintain your vehicle's electrical system and offer some basic checkups." As she led the demonstration, I watched with admiration. She navigated the crowd with confidence, engaging attendees and explaining concepts with clarity. Fellow students joined her to assist with hands-on demonstrations, encouraging audience participation. "All right, who here has ever had trouble with their headlights?" she asked, prompting a few hands to shoot up. "Let's show you how to troubleshoot that." The crowd laughed and engaged, and it was clear they were enjoying the interactive format. As they moved around the area, I felt a wave of gratitude. This was what community was all about, people coming together, learning, and supporting one another. Throughout the day, students from different groups showcased their skills. They demonstrated oil changes, tire rotations, and even basic car maintenance tips. Parents and community members participated actively, asking questions and trying their hands at the different activities laid out. During a quieter moment, Sarah and I took a step back to soak in the atmosphere. "Can you believe this? Just look at how far they've come," she said, her eyes twinkling with pride. "It's mind-blowing," I replied, my heart swelling with joy. "They're not just learning about cars, they're building confidence and skills that will serve them for a lifetime." Just then I spotted Lisa in the crowd, her 2 children beside her. She waved enthusiastically and I walked over to her. "Thanks for coming," I said, grinning. "How are you?" "We wouldn't miss this for the world. My kids are so excited to learn more about cars," she said, glancing at them, who were already exploring the station set up for tire rotations. "Great to hear. We've got some amazing kids running the show today," I replied. As the event progressed, I noticed Mia leading her group through an impromptu troubleshooting session. They had set up a hands-on area where attendees could bring their cars for basic checks. The students engaged with the community, helping solve simple issues, their confidence palpable. As the sun dipped lower and painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, we prepared for closing remarks. I gathered everyone once more. Thank you all for making today possible. The support from this community means so much to us and to these incredible students. I'm so proud of my friends here today. This is just the beginning for all of us, Mia added, her voice clear and strong. The crowd cheered once more, and I could see how impactful the day had been. As everyone began to wind down, I felt a sense of closure, not as an end, but as a stepping stone toward the future. As we cleaned up, Sarah turned to me, her expression contemplative. What do you think the next step is for the program? I'd love to refine our curriculum further, perhaps leverage the community feedback from today, I replied. And we could also explore additional partnerships with local businesses to provide internships for our students. Absolutely, there's so much potential in what we've created, she said, her passion shining brightly. We spent the following weeks working together to implement enhancements based on feedback from our event. Our connections to local auto shops blossomed into sponsorships, providing additional resources, tools, and internship opportunities for students eager to gain real-world experience. The program grew immensely, and soon we had students in completely different age groups excited to be part of something meaningful. I looked at the community we were building and felt immense pride. One afternoon, as I sorted through workshop materials in the garage, I heard familiar laughter coming from outside. A group of our students had gathered, and I could see Mia taking the lead once again. As I stepped outside to investigate, I heard her directing a friendly competition among her peers, a mini hands-on skills challenge. All right, everyone, who can identify the most common car issues in under 5 minutes, let's go. The energy was infectious, and I couldn't help but smile. They were not just learning, they were thriving, supporting each other, and making memories. As the sky turned to twilight, I knew that I had found my purpose. We were creating a legacy, one that would empower future generations, foster skills, and build bonds that could withstand the test of time. Looking around, I felt a powerful sense of fulfillment. Together with Sarah and all the students, we were driving into a bright future, and I couldn't wait to see what adventures lay ahead. As the seasons changed, so did the rhythm of our program. The car show had catalyzed a new wave of interest, and by spring, we saw a record number of students enrolling in our mentorship program. Each new session brought new faces filled with eagerness, and the garage pulsed with energy. One afternoon, as I was fine-tuning our outreach materials, Sarah burst in, her excitement palpable. "Jake, guess what? We've been invited to present at a regional education fair." "Really? What an opportunity. This could showcase everything we've accomplished," I responded, my pulse quickening. She nodded eagerly. "Exactly. We can share our success stories and hopefully inspire more communities to replicate what we're doing here." We set to work prepping for the event. Our presentation would include highlights from our workshops, student testimonials, and of course, the impact that our program had made. We wanted to illustrate not just the skills being taught, but the confidence and community being built as well. On the day of the education fair, the atmosphere was electric. Schools from all over the region had gathered, showcasing various innovative programs. Sarah and I set up our booth, arranging materials and ensuring we had everything ready for our presentation. As attendees flowed in, we attracted a crowd eager to learn about our mentorship program. I noticed students mingling with one another, sharing their experiences, and even giving mini lessons on automotive skills. When it was finally our turn to present, I felt a mixture of nerves and excitement. "Welcome, everyone. We're thrilled you're here," I began, glancing at Sarah, who beamed back at me. "We're the team behind the Auto Mechanics Mentorship Program, and we're passionate about empowering young people through automotive education." As we spoke about our journey and demonstrated short videos from our workshops, the audience's interest peaked. We showed clips of Mia, Eric, and other students leading demonstrations, their confidence shining through the screen. After our presentation, we opened the floor to questions, and hands shot up. "How can other schools start similar programs?" one teacher asked. Sarah answered enthusiastically, "It's all about building community relationships. Reach out to local businesses, involve them in the process, and let your students take the lead. Their passion makes all the difference." We engaged in spirited conversations, answering questions and sharing resources. It was invigorating to connect with educators who were equally passionate about making impactful changes in their communities. Later in the day, we received a visit from a representative of a local automotive college. "This is impressive work," she remarked, looking over our materials. "I'd love to discuss potential partnerships to help provide scholarships for your students who want to further their education in auto mechanics." This opportunity was game-changing. We spent a significant amount of time discussing how we could collaborate, and the excitement was electric. As the fair wound down, Sarah and I high-fived, exhilarated by the day's events. "Can you believe what just happened? The potential for scholarships could be a huge step forward for our students," she exclaimed. "Absolutely, this is just what we need to elevate the mentorship program," I replied, my mind racing with possibilities. In the following weeks, we worked diligently to finalize our partnership with the college. We formulated a curriculum that would give our students a direct pathway to scholarships, enabling them to further their education in automotive technology. With the added emphasis on academic support, our outreach efforts surged, attracting even more students. The garage buzzed with passionate individuals, both old and new, ready to dive into the world of auto mechanics. Amidst this growth, I noticed Mia taking on an even larger leadership role. She began organizing peer-led workshops to help her classmates who were struggling with specific topics. One afternoon, she approached me with an idea. "What if we set up a monthly Skillshare Day, a time when everyone can exchange knowledge and focus on areas they want to improve?" "I love that idea, Mia. Let's set it up," I said, excited to see her take initiative. With her enthusiasm, Mia quickly rallied her peers. The first Skillshare Day was a roaring success, with students gathering to teach each other various aspects of automotive maintenance, from basic repairs to more advanced techniques. As I wandered around the garage, I couldn't help but feel proud. This was a true community, a space where students mentored one another, forging connections that would last a lifetime. One evening, after a particularly busy week, Sarah and I sat down to debrief. "I think we've officially reached a tipping point," she said, her eyes shining. "We're not just a mentorship program anymore, we're a movement." Absolutely, I agreed, reflecting on the journey we had been on. It's all about empowerment and encouragement. The connections we're fostering go beyond just car repairs. As spring progressed, we made plans to hold a summer camp for students interested in auto mechanics. The idea was to provide a more immersive experience, allowing them to dive deeper into the subject while having fun. The camp would feature hands-on workshops, guest speakers from the industry, and opportunities for students to showcase their skills in friendly competitions. The excitement was palpable as we spread the word within the community. As the summer camp approached, I could feel a sense of anticipation building. I watched our students transforming into confident individuals, and I couldn't wait to see how the experience would further empower them. On the first day of camp, the atmosphere was electric. Students arrived, buzzing with enthusiasm, ready to immerse themselves in the world of auto mechanics. We kicked off the camp with an opening ceremony, where Mia took the lead, welcoming everyone and setting the tone for collaboration and community. "This week is all about learning from each other and having fun. Let's make the most of it." Over the next few days, we delved into a variety of topics, including engine diagnostics, advanced suspension systems, and even basics of automotive design. Guest speakers brought real-world insights, sharing their journeys and the importance of following one's passion. As participants engaged in hands-on challenges, I marveled at their growth. The camaraderie strengthened, friendships blossomed, and each student took pride in sharing their knowledge and learning from others. The culminating event of the summer camp was a friendly skills competition. Students formed teams and faced off in various challenges, from diagnosing car issues in timed scenarios to presenting their own unique projects. As the competition unfolded, excitement buzzed through the air. Cheers filled the garage as different teams showcased their skills and creativity. Mia led her team with enthusiasm, navigating the challenges with confidence. When the dust settled, we gathered to announce the winners. "Every single one of you did an incredible job," I said, looking at the sea of eager faces. "The true victory is the knowledge you've gained and the friendships you've built." With the winners announced, the awards ceremony was filled with laughter and cheer. Each student walked away with a certificate, tangible proof of their hard work and dedication. As summer camp came to a close, I reflected on the journey we had shared. The growth I had witnessed wasn't just in skills or knowledge, it was in attitudes, in friendships, and in the ripple effect of empowerment. As I stood in the garage, surrounded by students celebrating their achievements, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude wash over me. Together, we were driving toward a future bright with promise, each of us learning and growing along the way, and I couldn't wait for what lay ahead. As summer transitioned into fall, the energy within the garage remained high. The success of the summer camp had fostered a renewed spirit among the students, who were now ready to apply their skills in real-world situations. It was clear that our mentorship program was resonating not only within our community, but also beyond it. One morning, as I sorted through supplies in preparation for the next set of workshops, Sarah approached me with a brilliant idea. What if we organize a field trip for the students to visit a local automotive manufacturing plant? It could be a great way for them to see the industry firsthand. I love it, I exclaimed. It would give them valuable insight into the practical applications of what they've been learning here. With that, we set to work arranging the logistics. Sarah made the calls to the plant, and I drafted permission slips and informational materials for the students. When the day of the field trip arrived, anticipation hung in the air like a thick fog. As we arrived at the plant, I could see the excitement in the students' eyes. They stepped off the bus, a mix of nerves and eagerness evident on their faces. "This is going to be incredible," Mia said, glancing around at the expansive facility. The tour began, and we were greeted by a passionate manager who guided us through the production line. She explained the various stages of manufacturing, detailing how each part came together to form the final product. Our students absorbed every word, their eyes wide with fascination. As we witnessed robots constructing intricate components and skilled workers assembling vehicles, I watched Mia and her friends engage with the process. They peppered the manager with questions, curious about everything from assembly techniques to quality control measures. During a break in the tour, I pulled aside a few students. "What do you find most interesting so far?" I asked. "Seeing how everything fits together," Eric responded, excitement in his voice. "I never realized the level of precision involved." "I thought it would be all machines and no people, but it's so collaborative," Mia added. "It's cool to see teamwork in action." As we continued the tour, the manager invited the students to interact with some of the machinery. They eagerly engaged, fascinated by the mechanics and the technology at play. I felt a surge of pride as I observed their enthusiasm. The passion we'd nurtured here was blossoming into something incredible. At the end of our tour, the manager gathered us all for a Q&A session. "What's your next goal?" she asked, smiling at the group of budding mechanics. Mia stepped forward bravely. "We want to continue learning and growing. Maybe one day we could even work here." Her words hung in the air, striking a chord with everyone present. The manager nodded thoughtfully. "You definitely can if you keep pursuing your education and honing your skills. Remember, there's always a place for passionate individuals in this industry." As we made our way back to the bus, the atmosphere among the students felt charged with inspiration. Conversations flowed as they shared their thoughts, dreams, and aspirations. I knew that this experience would leave a lasting impression on each of them. In the following weeks, we decided to channel that inspiration into fresh initiatives. Building on the excitement from the field trip, we launched a new series of workshops aimed at exploring automotive design and engineering. The idea was to encourage students to conceptualize their own vehicle prototypes, combining creativity with technical skills. During one workshop, we divided students into small groups and challenged them to brainstorm vehicle designs based on community needs. The energy in the room was electric as ideas bounced around. "What if we create a car that runs on solar energy?" one student suggested. "Yes, and it could have more space for families to safely travel," another chimed in. Watching their imaginations come to life was exhilarating. I facilitated discussions and encouraged them to consider real-world implications, fuel efficiency, safety, and sustainability. Over the next few weeks, the students poured their hearts into their designs. They researched, sketched, and built physical prototypes using materials they could find. Sarah and I provided guidance, but made it a point to let them take the lead. As the students' prototypes began to take shape, we decided to host a showcase where they could present their designs to the community. The energy was infectious. Not only were they creating, but they were also preparing to share their hard work with family and friends. On the day of the showcase, the garage was transformed into a vibrant exhibition space. Students displayed their prototypes, proudly presenting their concepts alongside detailed explanations. Families gathered, eager to see the innovation that filled the room. As the showcase began, I stepped up to introduce the event. "Welcome. Thank you for joining us in celebrating the creativity and hard work of our students. Today, you will witness not just designs, but the promise of what the future holds." One by one, students took turns presenting, their confidence shining through. Mia, acting as a spokesperson for her group, showcased a model they had created for a family-oriented eco-friendly vehicle. Our design focuses on sustainability, safety, and comfort. We want families to travel together without compromising on environmental impact. The audience responded with applause, and I couldn't help but feel a rush of pride. The talent and passion displayed throughout the day were incredible. As the presentations wrapped up, we opened the floor to questions, fostering a dialogue between the students and the attendees. Parents and community members asked about the designs, encouraging discussions that spurred even more ideas. After the presentations concluded, we invited everyone for refreshments and informal discussions. I watched as families celebrated their children's achievements. The sense of community was palpable, and it warmed my heart. Later, Sarah and I gathered with the students to share final thoughts. You all did an amazing job today. The creativity and effort you put into your designs are truly inspiring, I said, my voice filled with pride. I can't believe how much we've learned, Mia said, her eyes shining with excitement, and it's great to see everyone's ideas come to life. As the dust settled from the showcase, I realized that this journey was not just about teaching automotive skills. It was about fostering a generation of confident, innovative thinkers. The connections made went far beyond the garage walls. As we moved forward, I felt a sense of clarity about our mission. Together with Sarah and all of our students, we were not merely teaching skills. We were igniting passions, nurturing dreams, and empowering a community to believe in themselves. With this newfound understanding, I looked toward the horizon, excited about the journey still ahead of us. The road was wide open, and every turn held the promise of new adventures, new challenges, and infinite possibilities. As fall settled in, the atmosphere in the garage shifted with the changing leaves. The excitement from the prototype showcase lingered, but I sensed a yearning for more among the students. They wanted to see their hard work manifest into real-world applications. One afternoon, as we wrapped up a workshop focused on engine diagnostics, Mia approached me, her eyes sparkling with determination. "Jake, we should consider starting a community service project, something that gives back to those in need while letting us use our skills." I loved the initiative. "That's a fantastic idea. What do you have in mind?" "What if we offer free vehicle checkups for low-income families in our neighborhood? We could help ensure they stay safe on the road," she suggested. "That's perfect. Let's plan it out. It would be a great way to show how much we've grown and what we can achieve together," I replied, feeling a surge of pride. Over the next few weeks, we mapped out the logistics for the community service project. The students teamed up to spread the word, reaching out to families who could benefit from our services. Flyers decorated the local schools and community centers, and I saw the enthusiasm radiate from my students. When the day of the event arrived, we transformed the garage into a bustling hub of activity. Students eagerly set up stations for checkups, outfitted with diagnostic tools, oil, and filters. Families began to arrive, and the sense of community was palpable. As we welcomed the first families, I saw Mia take charge. "Welcome, we're excited to help you today. We'll check your car's oil, tire pressure, and brakes. It's all free of charge." Her warmth put everyone at ease, and I watched as she engaged with the community, explaining each step clearly and providing insights. The younger students shadowed the older ones, learning how to communicate effectively as they assisted with the checkups. The garage was filled with laughter and conversation as families asked questions and received maintenance tips. It was beautiful to witness not just the skills, but the compassion that my students demonstrated. They were building connections with the community, bridging gaps through shared knowledge and kindness. As the day progressed, I noticed one family, a mother and her 2 children, who seemed particularly anxious. They approached us with a car that had been struggling to start. I could see the weariness on their faces, and I knew we needed to give them extra care. Mia stepped forward as I called her over. "Let's take a look at this one together." We examined the car and quickly identified a faulty battery. "We can replace it," I said, looking at the family. "It's important that you have reliable transportation, especially with winter coming." The mother sighed in relief, visibly grateful. "Thank you so much. I didn't know how we would manage." With the reassurance of support, Mia and I worked swiftly, swapping out the old battery for a new one. As we finished, the engine roared to life and the mother's eyes lit up. "Thank you, you've no idea how much this means to us," she said, holding back tears. Mia smiled, the joy evident in her expression. "We're just glad we could help. Stay safe on the road." As families left with their vehicles running smoothly, I felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment. It was more than just checking off boxes. It was about building a community grounded in support and empathy. By the end of the day, we had assisted dozens of families. Exhausted but happy, we gathered together to reflect. Today was incredible, I said, looking at the smiling faces of my students. You've made a real difference. People were so grateful, Mia added, her eyes shining. It felt amazing to help. Sarah chimed in, joining our circle. This was just the beginning. Helping out made us aware of the needs in our community, and I think we should do this regularly. Absolutely, the students echoed, their excitement palpable. Fueled by that enthusiasm, we started planning future community service events. The sense of purpose ignited a fire within my students, and I could see their passions deepen. They wanted to engage more, to learn, and to give back in every way they could. As winter approached, we brainstormed ideas for projects that would help families stay safe on the roads during the colder months. We decided to hold a winter safety workshop, focusing on preparing vehicles for harsh weather conditions and educating families about what to look out for. The enthusiasm for this new initiative radiated through the garage as we scheduled dates and organized resources. Students quickly took on leadership roles, eager to facilitate discussions and share what they had learned. When the day of the winter safety workshop arrived, the garage was a flurry of activity. We set up stations dedicated to winter car maintenance, including techniques to check antifreeze levels, changing wiper blades, and ensuring tire traction. Families began to arrive, and I watched as my students moved from station to station, demonstrating their knowledge with confidence. Mia led a group of children, showing them how to check tire pressure and talk about using winter tires. One father approached her with a curious smile. "You're doing an excellent job. Did you learn all this here?" "Yes, I've grown so much through the program," she replied, her pride shining through, "and I love being able to share what I've learned." As the workshop progressed, a sense of camaraderie enveloped the space. Families were engaged and interactive, asking questions and sharing stories of their road trips and winter experiences. After the final demonstration, I gathered everyone once more. "Thank you all for joining us today. Remember, keeping your vehicle safe during winter is vital for your family's well-being." As families began to leave, I felt incredibly proud of my students. They were not just learning about mechanics, they were nurturing relationships and providing real value to their community. Afterward, as we cleaned up the garage, Sarah turned to me, her face glowing with pride. "Today was a game changer. We're really making an impact." "And it's all thanks to the students," I replied. "They're the ones taking the lead and showing what true community means." As winter settled in, I looked toward the future with hope. I knew we had much more to do, but the path before us was clear. Together, we were building a movement fueled by passion, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to lift each other up. Each day in the garage transformed not just lives, but entire families, and I couldn't wait to see how far we could push the boundaries of what was possible. With every challenge we faced and every triumph we celebrated, we were, without a doubt, driving toward a brighter future together. As the winter months rolled in, the community service initiatives continued to flourish, and our garage became a center of hope and connection. The cold air outside didn't dampen the spirit within our walls. Instead, it seemed to amplify the warmth of camaraderie as we prepared for another community event. One frigid Saturday morning, as I set out supplies for our next project, Sarah approached me, bundled warmly in her coat. "Jake, I was thinking we should organize a winter preparedness drive. We could collect supplies to help families in need stay warm and safe," she suggested, her eyes gleaming with enthusiasm. "That's a brilliant idea. We can gather blankets, winter clothes, and food items. There are so many families in our community who could use support during this time," I replied, immediately seeing the potential impact. We quickly set to work, planning the logistics for the drive. Students enthusiastically joined in, spreading the word across their networks. Over the next few weeks, the garage transformed into a collection hub. Every day, families dropped off donations, and the sense of community was palpable. As the items piled up, excitement grew. One afternoon, Mia approached me, holding a donated winter jacket. "I can't believe how much we've collected. This is going to make a huge difference for so many families," she said, her face glowing with pride. "It really will," I affirmed. "This is what it's all about, coming together to lift each other up." When the day for distributing the collected supplies finally arrived, the garage buzzed with energy. Families lined up outside, eager to receive warm clothing and supplies. I watched as students prepared to fit families with jackets, distribute blankets, and provide hot meals. As the doors opened, Mia and her classmates stepped outside to greet families warmly. "Welcome, we've got plenty of items to keep you warm this winter," she announced, her enthusiasm contagious. The feeling in the air was electric. Families entered the garage, and the atmosphere was filled with laughter and gratitude. Students moved through the crowd, helping to hand out jackets and blankets while asking about families' needs. I overheard one mother telling Mia how much she appreciated the support. "With the holidays coming up, this means the world to us," she said softly. Mia beamed in response, eager to help. Throughout the day, students took the lead. They engaged with families, offering not just supplies, but also warm meals prepared by local volunteers. The simplicity of sharing a meal created bonds that transcended the day. As we wrapped up the distribution, I gathered everyone together. "Thank you all for your generosity and for showing up today. This is what community looks like, supporting and caring for one another," I said, my voice filled with gratitude. As families left with their arms full of warm clothing and essentials, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. I glanced around at the students, who were high-fiving each other and celebrating the success of the day. Later, as we cleaned up the garage, Sarah approached me, her eyes sparkling. "Can you believe how far this has come? We started with a simple idea, and look at the impact we're making." "It's incredible," I replied, "and the best part is that it's all thanks to the students stepping up. Their passion and dedication drive this program forward." As winter settled into a deeper chill, we continued to brainstorm new initiatives. With the holidays approaching, we decided to host a holiday car care event. The idea was to offer families a chance to prepare their cars for winter travel, while also including fun activities and meals. On the day of the holiday car care event, the garage was filled with holiday decorations, transforming it into a warm and inviting space. Families arrived, greeted by the scent of hot cocoa and festive cheer. We set up stations for vehicle maintenance tasks, such as checking antifreeze levels and preparing emergency kits. Students eagerly explained each process, ensuring families felt comfortable and knowledgeable about maintaining their vehicles during the season. In a separate area, we held holiday-themed activities for children, including crafts and face painting, allowing parents to focus on their cars. Laughter filled the air as families connected. It was a heartwarming sight. As the event progressed, I noticed a family that was particularly reserved, sitting quietly in a corner. They had just arrived and seemed unsure of how to engage. I approached them with a warm smile. "Hi there, welcome. How can I help you today?" The mother looked up, hesitating. "We were just curious but didn't know what to expect," she admitted. "Come on in," I encouraged. "We have a lot of fun things planned today. You're welcome to join any of the activities." As I spoke, I felt Mia approaching with confidence. She had spotted the family and chimed in. "We're going to check your car for winter readiness. It's important to stay safe on the road this season." With Mia's warm invitation, the family's expressions softened, and they seemed to relax. They joined us at the maintenance station, and soon enough, smiles replaced their initial hesitation. As Mia guided them through the maintenance checks, I watched with pride. The warmth and connection being fostered were what our community was all about, embracing everyone and lifting each other up. At the end of the day, as families departed with full hearts, I gathered everyone once more. "Thank you all for your dedication and kindness today. Together, we're not just a mentorship program, we're a family." After the event, Sarah and I reflected on how much we had achieved. "We've created something truly special here," she said, her expression filled with appreciation. "Yes, and we continue to see the impact of our work," I replied. "What started as an auto mechanics program has become a beacon of hope for so many." That evening, as the garage lights dimmed and we prepared to close up for the night, I glanced around at the space that had become so vibrant and alive. It was more than just a place for learning. It had become a sanctuary for connection, compassion, and growth. As winter settled in for the long haul, we stood on the cusp of a new year filled with promise. Together, we had forged a path towards a brighter future, one where knowledge, kindness, and community spirit blended seamlessly into the fabric of everyday life. And as I looked toward the horizon, I knew that this was just the beginning of our journey. Together, we were ready for whatever lay ahead. As winter began to thaw, bringing with it the promise of spring, the excitement among the students grew. The previous months of community service had instilled a sense of purpose in everyone, and it became clear that they were eager to expand their reach even further. One sunny afternoon, as we gathered for a regular workshop, Mia stood up confidently. I have an idea. What if we start a mentorship club where older students help teach younger ones? We could meet once a week to focus on specific skills and also discuss community projects. The room erupted in encouragement. That's a fantastic idea, Mia, I said, beaming with pride. It would reinforce what you're all learning while giving younger students the chance to grow. Let's set it up, Sarah added, her enthusiasm infectious. We can organize mentorship sessions, where older students teach specific skills and then brainstorm new community initiatives. All the students rallied behind Mia's idea, and within a week, the mentorship club was established. Older students took on leadership roles, crafting lesson plans, and the younger ones joined eagerly, excited to learn from their peers. At the first mentorship session, excitement filled the garage. Teams formed with clear roles, and the enthusiasm was palpable. Mia and her group led a workshop on basic maintenance checks, using the cars assigned to the younger students for practical application. Remember, it's important to check your fluid levels regularly, Mia instructed, demonstrating how to open the hood and inspect engine oil. Her confidence was contagious, and the younger students leaned in, eager to absorb every word. As the weeks progressed, I watched the mentorship club take on a life of its own. The older students thrived in their roles, honing teaching skills while reinforcing their knowledge. The younger students blossomed, becoming more confident and eager to participate. One evening, as we wrapped up a mentorship session, Mia approached me, her eyes sparkling. Jake, can we plan a community car care day where everyone can come and learn? We could offer hands-on demonstrations and give them resources for car maintenance. That's an excellent idea. It's important to continue educating our community, and this could be a fantastic event, I responded, seeing the potential it held. With renewed energy, we set to work planning the Community Car Care Day. Flyers were created and distributed throughout neighborhoods, inviting anyone interested to learn practical car maintenance skills. As the day approached, excitement buzzed in the air. Students worked tirelessly preparing demonstrations, honing their skills, and ensuring everything was ready. On the morning of the event, families arrived early, eager to participate in the learning opportunities. I'm so glad we're doing this, Mia said, taking her place at the front of the garage. It's great to see the community come together. As families filled the garage, I stood back and watched. Students moved between stations, showcasing everything from tire checks to changing oil. The atmosphere was one of shared knowledge and camaraderie. Parents engaged with their children, asking questions, eager to understand more about their own vehicles. After several successful sessions, I gathered everyone for a closing announcement. Thank you all for taking part today. The knowledge you've gained is invaluable and helping others build stronger communities. The families left with knowledge and smiles, and it was clear that the event had made a lasting impact. As we cleaned up and began to wind down, I felt a swell of pride in what we had accomplished. In the weeks that followed, the mentorship club continued to grow. Each session brought new ideas and initiatives. One day, as I arrived at the garage, I saw students diligently preparing for a presentation on career paths in the automotive industry. Jake, we're planning a career day where we can invite industry professionals to speak about their experiences, Mia said, her excitement palpable. I love it. That could open so many doors for students who want to explore their options, I encouraged, recognizing the value of such an initiative. As the preparations for Career Day unfolded, connections were made with local auto shops, manufacturers, and colleges. When the day finally arrived, I could feel the energy in the air, students dressed professionally, ready to engage with the visiting professionals and gather insights into their future careers. The event began with a panel of industry experts sharing their experiences, discussing various career paths in automotive technology. Students listened intently, captivated by the stories of success, passion, and resilience from each speaker. Finding what you love and pursuing it is key, one panelist advised, prompting nods of agreement around the room. The automotive industry is evolving, and there are so many opportunities for growth. After the panel discussion, students broke into smaller groups, moving around the room to ask questions and learn more about specific careers. Mia led one of the discussions, engaging actively with the speakers. I watched from the sidelines, filled with pride as I saw the students connect with professionals and gain insights that could shape their futures. This was the culmination of our hard work, a tangible step toward empowering the next generation in their field of choice. By the end of the day, as students mingled and exchanged contact information with the professionals, I felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The seeds we had planted were beginning to bloom. As the school year drew to a close, we celebrated the achievements of our mentorship club with a final showcase event. Students prepared presentations summarizing what they had learned over the year, highlighting their personal journeys, and discussing their plans for the future. On the day of the showcase, the garage buzzed with excitement. Families gathered, and the air was filled with anticipation. One by one, students took the floor, confidently sharing their stories and insights. Mia stood before the crowd, a bright smile on her face. This year has been transformative for all of us. We've learned so much about cars, but more importantly, we've learned about ourselves. We've built a community that supports one another and believes in the power of knowledge and empathy. The room erupted in applause, and I felt a sense of pride swell within me. They had come so far, growing not only as mechanics but as leaders and community advocates. As the showcase came to a close, I gathered everyone for a final thank you. I want to express my immense pride in each of you. Your passion, dedication, and support for one another have created something truly special here. Together, we have fostered a thriving community that will inspire future generations. With that, laughter filled the air as families mingled and celebrated, sharing stories of growth and connection. As I looked around the room filled with pride and warmth, I knew our journey was far from over. The horizon held limitless possibilities for what we could achieve together in the future. As I tucked away the memories of the past year, I felt an unwavering sense of hope. We were embarking on a new chapter, one filled with dreams, aspirations, and a deep commitment to our mission of building community, empowerment, and knowledge. Together, with every turn of the wrench, we would pave the way for brighter tomorrows. As summer approached, the garage was alive with the energy of new ideas, initiatives, and an unwavering spirit of collaboration. The Mentorship Club had evolved into a dynamic program that not only nurtured skills, but also fostered lasting friendships and community bonds. One bright Saturday morning, as the sun streamed through the garage windows, Sarah and I sat down to discuss our plans for the summer ahead. "I think we should organize a summer skills boot camp," she suggested, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "It would be a great opportunity to dive deeper into advanced topics while also integrating fun activities." "That sounds fantastic," I replied, envisioning the possibilities. We could focus on specialized skills and invite guest speakers to provide insights into various aspects of the automotive world. With renewed energy, we set to work, drafting a curriculum that included hands-on workshops, industry tour, and guest lectures. Our students reacted with excitement as we presented the summer boot camp idea, and they quickly began preparing for the upcoming sessions. As the first day of the boot camp arrived, the buzz was palpable. Students gathered in the garage, eager to dive into advanced topics like engine diagnostics, hybrid technology, and even basics of automotive design. Mia, taking the lead once again, welcomed everyone. "This summer is about pushing our limits and exploring new skills together. Let's make the most of every single moment." Throughout those summer weeks, the garage transformed into a vibrant classroom. Students engaged in practical learning experiences, participated in challenges, and explored innovative technologies shaping the future of the automotive industry. One afternoon, a guest speaker from a local electric vehicle startup arrived to share insights about the growing field of electric and hybrid vehicles. As he discussed advancements and future possibilities, I could see inspiration spark in the eyes of my students. "Imagine how much potential is in this industry," Mia exclaimed after the presentation. "We could even work on our own electric vehicle project." Her enthusiasm was infectious, and soon we were brainstorming ideas for a new project centered on creating a small, eco-friendly vehicle prototype. It felt monumental, and the students rallied together with excitement, determined to turn their ideas into reality. As the days flew by, the electric vehicle project began to take shape. Students broke into groups, researching, designing, and building components for their prototype. Collaboration surged, and I was amazed at how seamlessly they worked together. During one workshop, Mia took charge of leading her team. "Okay, let's start by sketching out our design. What do we want our vehicle to look like?" Ideas bounced back and forth, morphing into a cohesive vision. I wandered around the garage, observing their progress and feeling a wave of gratitude wash over me. This was more than just a project. It was a testament to their growth, creativity, and determination. As the prototype neared completion, we set a date for a community showcase to unveil their hard work. Excitement ran high as students prepared presentations and polished their prototypes. On the day of the showcase, the garage buzzed with energy. Community members, families, and local businesses gathered to witness the students' innovation and creativity. the atmosphere was filled with anticipation. As the showcase commenced, Mia stepped onto the stage with confidence. "Welcome, everyone. We're excited to present our project, an eco-friendly electric vehicle prototype that represents the future of sustainable transportation." The crowd erupted in applause as students demonstrated their hard work, explaining the design and mechanics behind their prototype. Laughter and excitement filled the garage as community members engaged with the students, asking questions and providing encouragement. After the presentations concluded, I gathered everyone for closing remarks. "Today is a celebration of creativity, hard work, and community. You've shown what can be achieved when we come together to support and uplift one another." The room filled with cheers and applause. Students celebrated their achievements, and I felt an overwhelming sense of pride in what we had built together, a community rooted in compassion, knowledge, and empowerment. As the sun set on that remarkable day, I knew this was just the beginning. The journey we had embarked upon continued to evolve, and the possibilities ahead were limitless. Each student held the keys to their future, armed with the skills, knowledge, and confidence to pursue their dreams. Looking toward the horizon, I felt a profound sense of hope. We were not merely building a mentorship program, we were forging a movement that could inspire change and drive forth a legacy of connection, kindness, and innovation for generations to come. Together, we were ready to embrace the road ahead, filled with twists, turns, and boundless opportunities.